Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Saturday Nights Live. This is a kind of special impromptu last minute thing, as you guys probably all are aware. Four Horsemen dropped. I think the biggest surprise that they've dropped in quite a while, which is the Figura Obscura Santa Claus, or Father Christmas, as they have sort of called him. Announced on Friday, released on Saturday, right on the heels of the last Figure Obscura, the Headless Horseman, which came out, of course, in October. So I don't think I mean, apart from the people in the know, the people in sort of the inner circle, I don't think anybody really saw this thing coming. And I, for one, was very excited about it, and very happy with the product that they've revealed and released. And I'm very much looking forward to getting mine. Um, if you got an order in, let me know in the comments there. Let me know who's hanging out with me tonight, and we'll get some discussion going. I'm gonna go over the figure, what we get, what we also might get, and I'll get to that in a second if that sounds cryptic. It's because it kind of is. I don't know what there's a surprise, so we'll sort of discuss that, and we'll kind of delve into that a little bit. Um, there's already a couple reviews out. I put the links down below in the video description for the reviews that Toy Bro has done, as well as D Amazing. They both have really good reviews. Just depending on sort of what style you like, or which reviewer you like, but it's really cool that there's reviewers already have this figure in hand, so you can sort of see what you might have already ordered. Or maybe it'll sort of change your mind. And surprisingly, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm just going to very quickly double check this, because as I was setting up, the items were still available. Bear with me for a second here. Very quickly, yeah, just looking at the items, even the all-in package there is still available. So I don't know what the quantities were like. Um, I don't know what the reception or the demand was like. I think it's we'll get to that as well. There seems to have been pretty strong feelings, it seems, about this figure. Um, Either good or bad. People seem to feel a certain way about Santa Claus, and I don't blame them. I mean, he's sort of one of, if not the most iconic. Um, I don't know. Do you call him a mythical creature? I don't. Is he magical? You could sort of describe him in a bunch of different ways. Depending on sort of your own personal preference. Just checking out the comments here. Kelly says, "Ho ho ho!" Absolutely, buddy. Kelly, hey, I hope you got snow. I know how excited you are to to get snow. If I could send you some of the stuff that we got, I definitely would. We've been colder than it feels like colder than normal, and we've been getting snow pretty regularly the last few days. Um, Miko says, "Good evening. Good evening to you as well, Miko." Facebook user says, "This was a path for me personally, but it's a pretty solid fig." Yeah, absolutely, fair enough. And I think on the topic of passing on figures, it seemed like there was a quite a few people that said that they passed on this. There's quite a few Mythic Legions fans, I guess, and I think maybe that's the thing, is that the this figure, even though it's made by Four Horsemen, is not a Mythic Legions figure. It's a Figura Obscura, and I think there was like a sense of what the Four Horsemen should do with their different lines that maybe wasn't shared with the Four Horsemen so much as it was just sort of like a feeling of some of the fans. Because I heard a lot of people sort of, you know, posting and commenting about how they expected a sort of bigger, bulkier, barbarian style Santa Claus, which fair enough. yesterday afternoon, my prediction was like a Santa knight, like fully armored, very red and white. And I would have been very, very happy with that. Um, I I was even more surprised when it was just Santa. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was just a very traditional, straightforward, um, accurate, I guess, depiction of the Santa that we sort of see in popular culture, which I thought was really, really cool. And I'll get to a little bit of why once we sort of dig a little bit deeper into what we got, were offered. Trevor says, "Hello, everybody. Hello to you too, Trevor." Kelly says, "Unfortunately, no more snow here in Victoria. Literally everywhere else on the island, though." Um, I think that's fairly common, is it not? Isn't Victoria often sort of the last place to get snow? Um, Scott Baker. Scott, you made it on time. You got here right at the start, which is great. Happy to have you, buddy. I hope your Super 7 TMNT figures landed, and I hope you're enjoying them. I meant to reach out and ask you about them, but I haven't done that yet. But yeah, without any further ado, let's pull up. Ooh, I almost hit the end button. Hold on. Let's pull up the screen with the Four Horsemen window here of the sort of character bio and so on and so forth. So like I said, this is the new Figura Obscura. They are using Father Christmas as the name. He's not technically Santa Claus. He's Father Christmas, which is great. They make reference to all the different names that he sort of had throughout the years, throughout the times. Kris Kringle, Saint Nicholas, Papa Noel, Weihnachtsmann, Babo Natal, Grandfather Frost, Sinterklaas, Santa, Father Christmas. They even, I think, somewhere referenced Nightmare Before Christmas, which I thought was quite funny. So they're very much sort of pulling this one out. This is not, this Santa doesn't exist in mythos. He is not a Mythic Legions figure. This is Santa Claus. This is Father Christmas. This is, this is the version that we're all familiar with. And then this sort of long, not so much bio as sort of historical sort of thing. Saint Nicholas of Myrna, the Holy King, so on and so forth. And then we get Nate Barch's art, which when I was scrolling through this morning, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like wild. So you've got, what is basically the figure there. We've got a deer. We've got it looks like a snowy owl, snowy owl, snowy I think. And then the floating head of Santa in the rays of the sun. This was I thought this was such a funny. The floating head was what really got me with that art there. Jolly old Saint Nicholas, yeah, and then there's a poem from 1822, which is "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," which I mean I grew up with. We had a book on a Christmas Eve. My parents would read me Night Before Christmas. So very much the Santa that I grew up with, very much the Santa that I love. Great pictures from Trevor, 1/6 shooter. You get that great diode shot, which is so different from what we normally get, right? We normally get mist and sort of nature and castles and ruins and relics and stuff. And this is just a living room with a fireplace and a Christmas tree and Santa Claus. I'm surprised we didn't see milk and cookies. Like I'm surprised Trevor didn't get some sort of like very, very small, because I know he loves the bread, the miniature bread. So I thought it would have been a pretty nice touch to have milk and cookies, but alas, we didn't get that. But like I said, these pictures look phenomenal regardless. And then you get the little armor boot there, sort of sticking out, sneaking out. So it is a 2.0 body. Now let me see if yeah. So these are sort of the pictures that I'm sort of waiting to get to. But let me just quickly check in um, with the comments here. Um, Facebook user, I actually got one. Might need a Krampus now. Maybe Unboxing Day. You know what? That's a good call. I got the red Krampus, never really thinking that they would do a Santa Claus, but now I kind of want to get a black Krampus because black Krampus is the more traditional look for Krampus, and I think he balances with Santa a little bit better for a Christmas display. That red Krampus I think looks fantastic, and those should be coming very very soon. To the best of my knowledge, I ordered mine from Mike at eCollectibles. No surprise there. And to the best of my knowledge, last time I spoke to Mike, he said they were on their way to him. He should have them next week, and he's going to ship them out as quickly as he can. So those are going to be coming very, very soon. Miko says I passed on it as well for now. Reasoning is, does it fit with my Mythic Legions Canadian taxes? Too much at the same time, and last year Krampus was released later, so if Mike gets it later, I might get it. Absolutely. Now Mike doesn't know what color the excuse me, the retail release version would be. There's been no announcement that there's going to be a retail release version, but we were kind of going back and forth, and I could see like a dark green instead of the red, which would look really really good. And because I have the red Krampus, and I love Santa and I love this figure, I would probably get the green one as well. If they went green, um, and if they went a different color, the robes, I think, I think I could almost get it in just about any color. Because the more I look at this figure, the more I think it's an absolutely fantastic figure. And the more I look at this figure, the less I can understand the opinion of people that don't like this figure. Um, Now, if you passed on it just because you didn't want it, fair enough. But I mean, to say that it's a bad figure or whatever is a totally different thing, right? So that's all I'm saying. Um, as I said before, and sort of as I commented in the Cabal yesterday, that I passed on the Headless Horseman, just not really something that I needed or wanted, and I even passed on the con exclusives this year because they weren't. I'm okay waiting for the retail version. If I even get it. But the decos and stuff like that just didn't land for me, just in terms of my collection and stuff like that. So Miko, I completely understand where you're coming from. Um, Austin says it's my boy, Father Christmas. If you haven't seen Austin's post, Austin posted like the Santa collection. I think it was at his parents' house. They've got sort of this shelf. I don't know if it's just at Christmas time or if it's all the time, but they love Santa over at Austin's home residence there. Miko says it looks great for customs though. Yeah, absolutely. Trevor's here. Trev, what's going on, buddy? Hey guys, no milk and cookies. Yeah, that's fair enough. They don't want a lot of stuff that doesn't come with it. Yeah, and that's, I could totally understand that. So, there's certainly, the more of that stuff that you add in the shot, the more people are going to be like, hey, where's the milk and cookies? I saw it in the picture. It didn't come in my box. Yeah, on and on, whatever. Jay Wright, I like this figure. Yes, Jay. And I actually grabbed one of these for Jay. So we sort of split shipping, which helps for sure. Jay says the 1.0 heads are great too. Yeah, and the ability to put a one, to use that peg too. So if you're not using it for Santa, or if maybe you're going to take Santa down off a display come New Year, you can always use that peg for customizing. And I ordered 3 because that was the amount that that was the maximum per order. One for Jay, one for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that third one as a custom or not. We'll see. I think once I open one, I'll be able to make a better assessment there. Austin says, I'll admit that the duty fee almost turned me off, but my brother and I both wanted one, so at least we can split shipping and duty. Yes, absolutely. And if I'm proactive enough, I can actually, it doesn't take me too long to get to the customs office and clear it myself, which is what I'm hoping and intending to do, to save myself that FedEx kick in the teeth, which is like to the tune of usually like $80 after the fact, after they deliver it to you. Trevor said, I think my wife will steal this one on me. You know what? That's a very good point. And there you go. It definitely appeals to people outside of, and I think Mythic, there it is, Legion's collectors. Yeah, absolutely. That's a very, very good point. I think that, while there's certainly a vocal minority that is sort of not happy with what what the Four Horsemen have on offer here. I think that there's a lot of people that are going to get this figure just because of how good it looks, and like just as a Santa, right? Like just as Father Christmas. I think it's a phenomenal figure as Father Christmas. Mythic Legions are sort of Four Horsemen aside. Now that being said, there's a lot of toy YouTube channels and things that I listen to, that I watch. And a lot of those guys picked up, the Headless Horseman. Now, I don't know if this is going to appeal to the same crowd, but I mean, I think that it speaks to, the non-Mythic Legions community, maybe more in a different way, maybe not more, but maybe in a different way than it does to the Mythic Legions community, which is fantastic. I think it's very, very clever on the part of the Four Horsemen to offer product that appeals outside of the sort of line. And I think it works really well, almost as like a gateway, right? Because this is it's effectively a Mythic Legions figure, as far as, we as Mythic Legions collectors are concerned. But if you're somebody that maybe didn't want to get in on the line because you thought, there's too much stuff, there's too many figures, I wouldn't know where to start. Getting in with a Figura Obscura kind of opens the door to, the quality and just the absolute artistry that we know and love as Mythic Legions collectors. And, with any luck, picking up a Figura Obscura figure can create a new Mythic Legions fan and sort of add to the community, add to the discussion, all that kind of stuff. Facebook user says he would make a great fat monk. Well, it's a 2.0 body, so he would be a pretty lean, pretty lean monk. But I mean, the head and the cloak and stuff like that. I'm also looking at taking the second one and sort of making like a bigger, thicker version. I saw a lot of people talking about using a Vitus or Vitus, depending on how you want to say it, but because he's already got the red armor and stuff like that, so that might be a way to go. I saw a picture of this figure without Alder. That image alone would have gotten me very excited. Well, let me pull myself down for a sec. I think I know the picture that you are talking about. Is it this one? That is not my picture. That is Trevor's picture, 1/6 shooter. That was when I saw that shot too. I was just like, I think I'd already placed my order, to be honest. But when I saw that, I was just blown away, and can't wait to sort of recreate that as well with my Alder. Jay says, I can't see the other people chatting. Just want to say hi. Yes, hello, Jay. Always great to have you. Well, usually great to have you. It's not always great to have you. And Austin says definitely that one. Yeah, it's a fantastic shot. Like I said, that's Trevor's shot, not mine. Used without the consent, without the permission of Trevor, but I hope that he doesn't mind. I'm certainly not doing it in any sort of malicious way. Jay, hi to everyone, says Jay. Yeah, we get it, Jay. But not me. Hi to everybody but me. Miko said, imagine if they came out with a sleigh and all the reindeer. Now that I might get, but it would be a wave of its own. Yeah, and I mean, I heard people talking about, like, I wonder if anybody has enough alders, or if you're sort of in a city where there's enough collectors that you could get all the alders together and get a sleigh and get a full moose team. I've heard people sort of suggesting that somebody that's doing 3D printing needs to come out with a like a reindeer head for like an alternate reindeer head for alder, which I think would be fantastic as well. An already somewhat difficult figure to get, alder would just, I mean, I think anybody that was waiting to get an alder, if they got this Santa, they're probably scrambling to find an alder as well. I can already, Austin says, I can already imagine a scene with Santa and Thistlethorn. The more I think about it, the more I can't wait for this figure. Jay says the four moosemen of the apocalypse. Or Santa leads the good guys, right? Four alders in a sleigh, to slay the four horsemen. Hey-o. But Austin, going back to your comment there, a scene with Santa and Thistlethorn. I'll be honest with you. When I saw Trevor shots, when I sort of saw Santa, when I was sort of thinking about it in my head, as much as so many people are sort of suggesting that this isn't, a Mythic Legions figure, in a lot of ways, I disagree. I think this guy is, he's an eccentric within Xylona's flock, in the same way that like a bunch of the Xylona's flock characters are sort of eccentric, unique. Thistlethorn's a good example. Bryophytus, the latest tribute figure, the flying orc, whatever his name is, like Xenothon, I think is his name. I may be forgetting, but I thought this guy just fits Xylona's flock. He's got that sort of nature element. He's got the wooden cane. He's got the woven wreath. Eliminate a couple of the elements that come with him. The toys and the drum kind of thing. And this guy's Xylona's flock, or at least in my headcanon, he is. But let's take a look at the figure. Like we said, the 2.0 body. And if you haven't seen the reviews or sort of seen what's I bet he eats second breakfast. I bet he does too. If you haven't seen the reviews, the body that's underneath is a male 2.0 body. The majority of the body is sort of a dark, kind of almost chocolate brown. And then the boots are sort of a dark gray, a nearly black. It's the same, it's the same body as most of the elves, with that sort of armored torso. Although it is sort of just a bear style arm, like the unarmored arm. And then the lower arm is the armored one. And then the hand looks to just be a painted brown hand, which I'm okay with. That's sort of the one thing that I don't love, is that it's sort of a bare upper arm and just a painted, essentially bare hand. But that being said, I think we're getting, we're going to get 2.0 hands with the Poxus wave. So I'm probably just going to swap the hands out, and I'm not fussed one way or the other. The upper arms are covered by the cloak. So I'm not fussed about that either. Speaking of the cloak, that purple sort of tunic underneath is sort of like head to toe. And it just has a Velcro closure at the back, so it's easy on, easy off. The jacket has a clasp sort of right at the chest, but the jacket, like this, the lower jacket part is a separate piece from the hood and the sort of cowl piece, the shoulder piece. They're separate pieces. They're wired. They look absolutely fantastic. What you can't see sort of at first glance, and what is absolutely stunning is that there's a bit of trim between the white and the red, um, that looks to have, you know, some sort of gold thread, and stuff in there. It looks absolutely stunning. And I have seen a couple little close-up pictures. I don't know where they are. Like I said, I was not terribly prepared for this one, so I don't have all the sort of up close pics that I sometimes have. Um, but you know, when we zoom in, you could sort of see, that there's more detail work there. Um, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. I just think it's a stunning figure. You know, the detail is fantastic. The amount of stuff that you get in here is fantastic. And what you get, there's a lot of unique stuff. There's a lot of unique parts. You know, the soft goods are unique. 2 new head sculpts. So you also get a spare head. You get a spare head sculpt. I was talking to the other guys in, the other admins in our chat group today, saying that one of these heads is definitely going to be, this is going to be an unhelmeted Valgard head for me, which I'm really, really excited for, because as many of you know, I very much prefer the unhelmeted heads to the helmeted heads. And so to be able to, and it's probably going to be the short beard that I'm going to put on Valgard as the unhelmeted head for him. But then, you know, there's the accessory. So you get the little toy bag, the drum which clips on his belt, the trumpet, the doll, the two wreath sort of headgear pieces, one per head, I guess. Makes it easy if you want to put one head on 2 different figures or what have you. The staff, that staff looks phenomenal too. That's I don't think we've seen that staff before. I think that's an entirely new staff. I love the little candle in the lantern. That looks phenomenal. The tree. Then there's sort of some mystery goodies in the bag, and the 2 reviews that I've seen, D Amazing and Toy Bro, neither of them sort of gave up the goods and sort of spilled the beans, or let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. I don't think it's a cat, but however, I think it was Toy Bro's review. I didn't notice or remember them in D Amazing's review. There's also stuff that's not pictured in here, which I'll let you watch those reviews to sort of see what they are. So, like I said, this is sort of, you know, what was pictured when we ordered, but there's a couple more things that I am aware of that sort of add to the fun. And then and both of the reviewers said that on top of that, there's some really cool stuff in that bag, and that, I think it was Toy Bro even said if you get multiples, you're especially going to enjoy it. And I don't know what that means. It's just so cryptic. But you know, I guess that's sort of the fun of it. That's that just adds an extra layer of enjoyment to what is already going to be a fantastic figure. And then there it is with the great packaging from Nate Barch, that I think it's magnetized cover, you know, that opens up, can be used as a backdrop or a display. And the insert is like a living room with a fire and sort of stockings sort of thing. So and there of course is that amazing picture of Trevor's, which just, yeah, I mean I honestly don't know, you know, the people that are sort of suggesting that this is, the people that are suggesting that this is somehow like not up to like 4 Horsemen standard. I don't know. Like, I just generally don't understand what their argument is, which is why I'm having a hard time articulating on their behalf what they dislike about it so much. I think it just looks fantastic. I think it's great that they went sort of traditional Santa Claus. I also just think it's a really great figure. I think what we get is just a fantastic offering. You know, if you don't like it, I can understand passing on it. But like I said, the people that are like actively posting how much they don't like it just seems so absurd to me. And that was sort of the first wave of the posts. The second wave of the post was all the people on the other side going like, why are you posting all this complaints? Just don't buy it. Just move on. Just get over it. Um, Whatever. I guess it's all in good fun, right? Jumping back into the comments here, Austin says, I can potentially see myself get an extra Kronos and swapping his hooves with the boots from the Xylona Wave hand foot pack and using a spare Santa head. Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless. That's sort of the joy of this line, right? I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Beard. He says beard, effectively. Tiberius Wilson says, I wish, Austin, I think that's your brother. But did you change your, or maybe you've only ever commented through Facebook, but you're commenting through YouTube. But anyway, what's going on, man? I wish the figure came with a magic effect, could live without the tree. Well, yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm kind of right there with you. The tree is, to me, kind of the weakest thing. But I do think it's fun because you can sort of put the gifts underneath it for the display. However, I guess the counterpoint to that, if you will, is that any Michaels or sort of hobby store or whatever, you can go and pick up a tree and it's only a couple bucks. You can't go and pick up a magic effect or something like that. I would have loved to seen a magic effect as well, but again, with the Poxus wave coming, relatively soon. I mean, it should be here next year, which is, I guess, relatively soon in sort of Four Horsemen terms. There's plenty of magic effects there, and you can probably spare one. I got those magic effects set, so I'm gonna have spare magic effects anyway. So yeah, he may get a couple of the red ones. Miko said it means each figures have different prize in the bags. Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call. I never thought of that. I never thought of that, but that's a very, very good call. And it'll be interesting to see once they start landing. I'm gonna try really, really hard to avoid the surprise being spoiled. I'm really hoping that it doesn't take 8 weeks for that thing to get here for that very reason. I mean, they're saying that they're trying to get everything out by Christmas, but I mean, I'm going away just after Christmas, so if it doesn't get here, I won't get it till like the end of January, kind of thing. So we'll see. And by that point, I mean, I'd have to kind of shut off, Facebook entirely to not get that spoiled. So Jay paying for the whole seat, but sitting on the edge. My wife was impressed. Yeah, I think that's, I've heard a lot of people say that. I've heard a lot of people say like my wife was impressed, or I'm getting one for a family member who just loves Santas. I just realized that my mother-in-law loves Santas. That might be where my third one goes. Maybe not though. And Jay, that says it. Yeah. So Jay says my wife was impressed. That says it all. Yeah. Good point. And like we sort of, like we've said, and like other people have said, this figure appeals to a market outside of what Mythic Legions typically does. Because everybody loves Santa Claus, and anybody that doesn't, I feel really, really bad for them. I feel bad for anybody that doesn't love the magic and the joy of the holiday season. I love Christmas. I'm not a big Halloween guy. I know a lot of people are big Halloween people. I know that a lot of Mythic Legions people kind of err on the side of Halloween being their favorite holiday. I'm unapologetic in saying that Christmas is my absolute favorite holiday of the year, my favorite time of the year. December 1st hits, my Spotify Christmas playlist starts going, and it doesn't stop till December 31st. Well, till January 1st technically, because we run it till midnight, and then January 1st I back off because I understand that not everybody gets as hyped as I do. Whamageddon. Whamageddon doesn't work for me because I absolutely love that song. And if there wasn't World Cup soccer on when I was at work on December 1st, I probably would have already been out. But as it stands now, I'll probably be out by next week. Austin says the people posting they don't like it are entitled to their wrong opinions. Yes, I agree. But also they should feel free to keep it to themselves. And Austin says, yes, Tiberius is Tyler. Okay. And then there's me who thinks the tree is the best accessory. Fair enough. To each their own. Collect what you love and don't apologize for it, because that's the fun of it, right? Not everybody thinks Thistlethorn is the greatest Mythic Legions figure ever designed or created. I get it. Trevor says, I'm considering buying this release from Store Horseman. Anyone have any recommendations for shipping, USPS or FedEx? Okay. Okay. We'll read Trevor's comment, or sorry, Trevor's comment. I'll read Austin's comment to Trevor, and then I'll see if I have any more insight. Austin says, as far as I know, USPS isn't even offered anymore. That's why we keep getting hit with massive duty fees. So this time around, at least when I was checking out, the Four Horsemen gave multiple options. The least expensive of which was FedEx. The U.S. Postal Service, the USPS option, I think was there, but it was like almost twice as much. I do know a couple people chose that option because if you get USPS, you shouldn't get hit with the taxes and duties. If you choose FedEx, you have the right to request the customs paperwork from FedEx. So like once you get your tracking, start tracking it. Oh wait, let me skip back because I forgot something important. Trevor, buy multiples. The cost of shipping one is the same cost of shipping three. So if you have a friend or two, or you want three, get three. That's why I got three. I want one. I got one for Jay, and then the third one I was like, at this point, it cuts the shipping down per unit, which is a bonus because it costs a lot to get into Canada. So if you can, order the three, which is the maximum number you're allowed anyway. But if you choose FedEx, which I did, if you are close enough to like a customs, the crummy thing is you have to go in person to clear it. To the best of my knowledge, like you can't do it over the phone or anything like that. I'm only about 10 minutes away from a customs office where I can clear it. Maybe 15. So it's, half an hour round trip. But half an hour round trip to me is not that big of a deal because it's either half an hour round trip or, like I said, like $80. So like I said, as soon as you get your tracking, start tracking the package. As soon as it crosses the border into Canada, FedEx should have the paperwork available. You can request that paperwork and like I said, clear it as soon as you can. And then all you have to do is present them with the sheet of paper that's your receipt when it gets picked up, and you shouldn't have to pay the taxes, duty. Well, you'll have to pay the taxes and duties when you clear it, but you won't have to pay the fees that FedEx charges, which is effectively that $80, give or take. So that's my insight is if you go USPS, you won't get incurred the fees, but they charge more. If you go FedEx, if you can clear it, do that yourself and you'll be fine. Jay said everyone sips on toy collecting haterade once in a while, but sometimes I think it's for shock and create toy drama. Yeah, I think you're right. I think some people I think I was talking to somebody recently, and I think there's certainly a very small percentage of the collectors community that just like they get enjoyment out of the drama. They get enjoyment out of like just the negativity, which is not something that when I get really sort of aggravated, it's generally like it's not at the company, it's not at anything specific. It's like little things will get to me, and it's usually like nitpicky things. Um, I will say this: I don't like that the Four Horsemen released this when they did, because this is right on the back of the Headless Horseman. It's right on the back of the Necronominus wave that everybody's sort of figuring out how they're going to pay for it, and sort of where they're going to find the money for that. Also, if you went to Legion's Con, you just dropped a whole bunch of money at Legion's Con, which was 2-3 weeks ago. There's a lot of people that are just tapped out when this thing lands. So you know, I have a slight criticism that it was bad timing for Horsemen to release this when they did. I wonder if some of the people that are sort of angry about this release are really just projecting their anger because they just don't have the money to be able to get this figure, which is fair enough. Jay says, I am officially tapped. It's Christmas time, man. Everybody is, especially, if you got kids, if you got family you're buying gifts for and stuff like that. And even if you don't, I mean, like, there's so much stuff. There's so much, there's so many toys. There's so much cool stuff coming out. There's a lot of people got money tied up in pre-orders and tied up here and tied up there, and HasLabs and Kickstarters and whatever. It's getting harder and harder to find a few extra dollars to grab Santa. Tyler says Christmas is always a big day in the Wilson household. Austin posted a picture of our mother's Santa. That was your mother's Santa display. Yes, I mentioned that early on in the video. Austin posted a picture of our mother's Santa display, and the figure will look great with them all. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's that picture was great. Different size, Santas, different versions. You got the more modern sort of red suit. You've got the more traditional one that's sort of maybe more like this. Yeah, it's gonna look awesome on that shelf. Austin says, I can't help but laugh at how much of a headache shipping has become. Yeah, that's that's maybe the thing that drives me the most crazy with collecting, is that I just hate paying shipping. I hate paying shipping. Because I don't feel like, I know that you have to, right? Like, I know that it's an element. I'm in Kelowna, BC, middle of nowhere. I'm paying shipping for everything. I can't go out and buy most of the things that I want. So I'm paying shipping one way or the other. But I resent it because any money that I spend on shipping, I can't spend on more toys. It's simple mathematics of it is that averaging out, shipping cost across multiple figures is beneficial to me, because then it's like, well, if I'm only paying, a couple bucks per figure shipping, I'm okay with it. When it's like one figure that I want, and it's like $30 shipping, I usually pass. I can't do it. I can't justify it for that. Even if the price on the figure is good. You often hear people talk about like how good a price, and we talked about this in our Black Friday video just the other day. I talked about how the price of a figure is your landed price. So even for us Canadians, when there's a great Black Friday sale in the US, and you can get this figure at a great price, and shipping's like cheap in the US. By the time it gets to us, you can probably get it from Mike at eCollectibles or another Toy Traders, or whatever local shop you've got, probably for like the same price anyway. So like, it's not really a deal to get things shipped across the border. Four Horsemen is the same, but I mean, if the only way you can get it is from Four Horsemen, what are you supposed to do? Austin says, on a related note to shipping, I just paid for 2 labels. One to Quebec was $30, and one to Texas was $17. The parcels were the same size too. I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a bunch of times. and yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Jay says Big Bad Toy Store has $4 shipping everywhere in the States. No, no one there had better bitch. That's for an entire pile of loot. Yeah, that's exactly. And Jay don't buy from Dork Toy. Well, yeah, I mean they seem to be having some issues, but we won't get into that. Um, I I feel like I should pull that picture down because we're just sort of chatting now, but it's just such a good picture. I think I'm just gonna leave it up. It's probably better to have my face small and that picture big anyway, because nobody's here to see my face. Yeah, shipping's a pain in the butt. I don't love ordering direct from Four Horsemen for that very reason. Um, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, somebody's got to pay the shipping, and the price that Four Horsemen sets is based on the price that they're selling it at, and then shipping is what it is. There's no way around it. This is going to be boring for American people, but you can get the sort of cross border shipments. You can get the drop ships to sort of forwarding agents in the States, but then you're paying shipping to get it to the forwarding agent, and then from the forwarding agent to you. So I don't know if that ever really works out to be that much cheaper. You might save a few bucks one way or the other. But for me personally, like a few bucks one way or the other, I'll just pay a few bucks more. I just said that I hate paying shipping, but I also hate inconvenience and I hate paying multiple people for one job. So I'd rather pay a few bucks more and just cut the hassle out, cut the headache out, so on. So a few bucks one way or the other, I'll suck it up and do it anyway. Austin said, I look forward to seeing the retail exclusive. I'm predicting a dark green suit with a brown beard. I think it'll still be the same head or something very, very similar. Because it's not really Father Christmas if it's not a white beard. Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Does Santa need a white beard? To me, he absolutely does. A brown bearded Santa is just a dude. he's an imposter. He sits on a crown of lies. I said, yeah, that was I was my prediction is dark green, a dark green, and I think dark green. If they go dark green with the coat, I think they have to change the purple, for pretty obvious reasons, or at least I think it's pretty obvious reasons. And then if they go green coat, I think they could go like red tunic or blue tunic. I would really like to see a blue tunic. I think that would look really, really good. But I think he should still have a white beard, personally. That's just my opinion. And then I think that the retail version will probably come with less stuff. So I think he probably won't come with a tree. He might not come with the sort of surprise extras that are in Santa's toy bag. So that's my prediction. But that's also assuming that they make a retail version, which they haven't sort of said one way or the other. Jay says lots of lucky people also live within an hour or two to live events and no shipping at all. Yeah, absolutely. And that's that's a very good point too, is that for a lot of people that are sort of really close by, and there's a lot of people really close by to Four Horsemen, or close enough that they can go to a con and pick this up. So yeah, Jay, you and I are nowhere near any of the locations where you're going to pick one of these up with zero shipping at all. Tyler said green soft goods would look great, but maybe a gray beard over brown. Yeah, gray. Gray would be okay. I think there would be a tolerance on my part for gray if it's sort of white and gray. Still looks old man kind of thing. I could go for that for sure. Austin said, I'd only argue that it doesn't need a white beard because a lot of the Santa's mom have brown beards. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a fair point. I have Zero Santas in my collection, so that's that's my perspective bias coming through, I guess. As far as you can get in this landlocked, yeah, I mean, basically, that's you know, I I was trying to work it out the other day. Like, well, could they do a con that's any further away? And I don't think they really could. Uh, Legion's Con's about as far as I could go on the continent, I think, more or less. I mean, if it was in Florida, I guess it's a little bit further, but flight would be about the same, I think. Jay says Gingerbeard. No, I don't think so. I don't. You could if they did a Carrot Top tribute figure, maybe you could do a Gingerbeard. He has fire crotch. He was a fire crotch back in the day. Sure, fair enough. What else you guys got? Questions, comments? Like I said, I think this is a fantastic release. I personally think that the Four Horsemen, hit this one out of the park. It is. When they announced yesterday that they were doing a figure today, I thought for sure it was going to be Santa, and I wanted it to be as traditional sort of as it possibly could be. This for me just absolutely checks all the boxes. I asked CJ if he wanted to jump on the video today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it because he had other stuff going on. I was chatting with him last night, and I said, "You know what's coming?" He said, "Yes, I do," but he wouldn't share with me. But the soft goods, oh my goodness, CJ Jessam nailed it with these soft goods, and I think in no small part, those soft goods really, really sell the figure. So congratulations, CJ Jessam. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. Now, what do we got? Austin says, my main concern is getting this figure before Christmas. If I remember correctly, I got my Krampus a couple of days after Christmas. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Jay says he's traditionally an elf, so maybe a green skin Santa. That's an interesting take. They could do that. And I think people would. Now, is that Santa? Is that a little too far removed from what sort of people typically see Santa as? Maybe where this one sort of is easily sort of appeals across different lines and across different interests. A green-skinned Santa might push it a little too far. Add a repaint of Magnus, white hair and beard with the retail version. One can dream. Yeah, certainly. I think this head sculpt's pretty close to that, right? I thought that same thing too. I was trying to look really, really closely at it, and I don't think it's the Magnus sculpt. I think it's a different sculpt. But it's not far off. It's not far off. The short beard would look good. I think you could do like a short bearded jacked Santa too. For all the people that were sort of complaining that this wasn't sort of Mythic Legions enough. I think Jeremy Gerard set people pretty straight. I think Jeremy Gerard said this is not a Mythic Legions figure. This is a Figura Obscura, and I think that was it. I paraphrase. I don't know exactly what he said, but basically that's what he said was, for anybody that is sort of criticizing this through the lens of Mythic Legions, you missed the mark. This is not a Mythic Legions figure. But like I said, for me, looking at that shot right there with Alder the Moose, throw in Thistlethorn. Santa's Xylona's Flock. I think that's a perfect fit. I think he's gonna go on my Xylona's Flock display for sure. Maybe unrobed. Oh, I just had such a great idea for building out my Castle Silverthorn. Santa's gonna have his own little room, and I can hang his cloak for like 11 months out of the year, and then at Christmas time I can put it on. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'll try. Yeah, so that's the Figura Obscura. Father Christmas. Great release. I'm very excited about it. I'm very happy about it. Um, I'm kind of happy that I passed on a couple things recently too, so that I sort of wasn't absolutely busted that I couldn't pick this guy up. But Jay says, from looks alone, I give this a 9 out of 10. I would have preferred it on a 1.0 body, but that's easy to remedy. I have had the exact same thought, Jay. And because those robes are head to toe, I think it's pretty easy if you've got a spare 1.0 body to just pop that on a 1.0 body. If you want them a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, it'll be interesting to see how that looks. I predict Dork Lair has that sooner rather than later for us to all gawk at his what he does with some of these parts. Austin says, also, wasn't there an old claymation puppet movie where Santa was skinny? It was either Rudolph of the Christmas or the Christmas Without Santa Claus. I think it was the Christmas Without Santa Claus. In Rudolph, Santa's kind of small, but I wouldn't say he was skinny. I think it was the Christmas Without Santa Claus. Jay says, kind of what I am planning with the Wizards too. Yeah, exactly. We got the 2.0 bodies in there. If you want a 1.0, a little bit hardier body, you can absolutely do that. On that note too, I think because they've mentioned that this is a 1.0 head on a 2.0 body, there's a lot of people kind of speculating that maybe those Poxus Wizards have the same setup, where they're 1.0 heads, 2.0 bodies. So we may have more of those neck adapters sooner rather than later. Which is fantastic news. I think anytime you can get parts like that where there's versatility for kit bashing and for sort of crossing over 1.0 to 2.0 and sort of having the ability, like if you've got a head that you think would look perfect on a body, but it's a 1.0 head and you got a 2.0 body. I think it's just genius to sort of give people that option. I think people have been asking for that for a while, so that's great. Now I think they said you still can't put a 2.0 head on a 1.0 body, but that may change sooner rather than later too. So that's something to think about. On the topic of compatibility, on the topic of kit bashing, I would be remiss if I did not mention my good buddy Mike at eCollectibles. Tons of Mythic Legion stuff available in stock right now. In the Deluxe Legion Builder stuff. There's still Alithia stuff available, believe it or not. Pre-orders for a bunch of stuff. If All Stars 5 Plus, if you were a Dorkside guy and now you're sort of trying to figure out where you're going to get All Stars 5 Plus, I do think Mike has a lot of that stuff still available. Just for curiosity's sake, let's take a look at Alithia. I am thinking about, Valak sold out, so that blows that idea. I was going to say you could use a Valak body under those Santa robes, and I think that would look pretty good because it's sort of all black and sleek and fabric instead of armor. But alternatively, you've got other options as well. Alder's sold out as well. I wonder if those sold out as a result or if those sold out before. But anyway, regardless, get a couple Legions builders now because they're gonna go quick. They always do. I think all that stuff. All it takes is a run, right? All it takes is sort of one guy in the cabal going, "Hey, here's this custom that I made just by having this figure on hand and this figure on hand," and then you miss out. So if you're on the fence about anything, I'd say go grab it now. We'll quickly take a look at the last couple comments here, and then we will call it a night. Jay says, I just ordered some from Mike. I did as well. I still haven't opened it. I think I'm gonna do an open late video on the channel here, probably sometime next week, to open my Deluxe Legion builders. I still got this guy. It's my first ogre scale figure, so I'm really looking forward to getting that open. I just haven't had the time to sit down to do it. Heat and Dremel, yeah, absolutely. But there's always the people that are a little bit shy about heat, a little bit shy, a little bit even more shy about Dremel. So to sort of give people that option without kind of modifying a figure is always a bonus, I think. Austin, just looked at my mom's Santas. There's only one without a white beard, and it isn't brown. It's blonde. Shows what I know. Yes, in your face. You're wrong. It's got to be white or gray or blonde. Isn't blonde just kind of white anyway, though? Isn't that maybe just like sun damage? Is that a sun damaged white Santa beard? Jay just won't stop banging on the ginger beard. A ginger Santa, I don't mean to discriminate. I would certainly, I would have no problem with the ginger Santa. But yeah, I'm losing my voice here a little bit. I get a bit of a scratchy throat and so on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure to jump on and chat with you guys. Please subscribe, hit that notification button if you want to be notified when I'm going to go live for the unboxings. That notification button will let you know. Check out the reviews for Father Christmas. Like I said, I put them in the link down below there. Check them out. I think if you're on the fence at all, those reviews will probably push you one way or the other. And if they don't, I don't know, man. If you're still on the fence after you watch those reviews, that's tough. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. If you're interested in non-Mythic Legions toy stuff, I'll be right back here again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, just to chat about just a bunch of toy stuff that's happened this week and kind of talk about what videos I've tentatively penciled in for the month of December. I think I'm going to push to do a lot of videos. I've been told that I can't do one on Christmas Day, but I might try to do one anyway. Anyway, more on that in tomorrow's video. If you guys are interested, check that one out. But have a great evening and a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys all again soon. Thanks.